Special Needs Mums Should Stop Feeling Guilty, October 2nd, 2017, by Katie Paulson. Mum guilt runs high in my life. I feel guilty about allowing my child screen time. I feel guilty for allowing him to eat foods with sugar. I feel guilty that I buy him toys when I know he doesn't need them. These are superficial guilty feelings I have because I know I have no reason to feel guilty. I am his parent and I get to make choices for his life. Sometimes that means I give him a little extra sugar, let him watch a few extra cartoons, or buy a toy. I shouldn't feel guilty for these choices, but sometimes I do. Then there's a different type of guilt I feel almost daily about my child. The guilt is the seething, dirty monster that lives in my mind on the darkest days. There are days it terrorizes my every move, and I feel like I need to lock myself in a room and turn off the lights. When I lay my head down to sleep at night, it chatters in my brain and spins webs of lies. I toss and turn and try to shut it off, but the guilt haunts me to my core. In the mornings, I feel it weighs heavy on my heart as I prepare for my day. I know that I will be confronted with it many times during my day, and I feel as though I need to dress in a coat and armour to protect myself from all the jabs it will take at my heart. Logically, I know there is no reason to carry this guilt, fight this guilt, or be haunted by this guilt, but I can't turn off that nagging feeling in my gut. It screams at me, "You caused this disease. You created these disorders. It was what you ate, drank, medications you took, and your faulty DNA that made your child broken. You should have done more, eaten less, and been more careful. Why didn't you just listen to everyone when you were pregnant?" My child was born premature, and I started blaming myself from the moment he entered the world. My body failed him. He needed more time inside to grow, for his brain to develop, and for his lungs to mature. My body quit and gave in. He came 5 weeks early, and his lungs and heart came with problems. His lungs showed signs of premature lung disease, and his heart had 2 small holes along with pulmonary hypertension. As illogical as it sounds, I convinced myself it was his prematurity that created the issues, even though in my mind I knew that his heart would have had problems premature or full term. It doesn't matter. Guilt runs strong. As mothers, we feel like everything should be within our control. We are the nurturers, the fixers, the ones that are typically primary caregivers. Caretaker.
What?
As mums, most of us feel like it's our job to be able to make everything okay for our children. I couldn't make his heart or lungs function properly. I couldn't fix it, so I felt guilty. Well, instead of sitting there and having a daily fucking pity party with your feelings, why don't you get out there and be active? I was born premature, 8 weeks. I had underdeveloped lungs. I had childhood asthma. I still get asthma sometimes now as an adult. The one thing that my parents, I'm so grateful, my parents got me swimming. Swimming, I was able to regulate my breathing and build up the strength in my lungs. Also, I was able to build up the muscles where there was no muscle. So I swam before I walked. As he grew, more and more diagnoses were added to his list.
To our list.
To his list, not yours. This is not your story. Medical terms that I had never heard became standard in my life.
Our life.
This is not your life. This is your son's life. You are the narrator of his story, and you are adding, subtracting, exaggerating wherever you feel like you need to because you don't know the truth. You just want it to be gripping, shocking. My child is the worst off ever. If he is, stop having the pity party, get out there and help him. Be a hands-on mum, not a mum that sits back and films their child doing things by himself. Hey, proactive? Not in your house, Paulson, not in your house. Panhypopituitarism, Chiari malformation, macrocephaly, asthma, mitral valve stenosis, adrenal insufficiency. That's part of panhypopituitarism because the adrenal glands. Avoidant restrictive feeding disorder, oral apraxia, hypotonia, oral dysphagia, sensory processing disorder. Yeah, but that's part of autism. So you don't need to list all the things. You don't need to list all that, Exaggeration Nation Paulson, okay? You don't need to list them all. You just need to say panhypopituitarism, global dyspraxia, and finally, autism. The guilt grew with every single diagnosis. It certainly didn't help that people I knew asked questions like, "Did you take medication when you were pregnant?" Yes, she did. We know that she took trazodone. 100% has been taking trazodone all her life. Also, I feel like she was self-medicating still with her booze. Katie didn't even give up alcohol for Toad. I doubt she gave up drinking, especially in the first 12 weeks. That's when the pituitary gland would have been forming. That's when the damage would have been done. So maybe the guilt is real. Maybe you need to acknowledge your part in all of this, Katie. Did you vaccinate him or did you receive vaccinations while pregnant? I'll link it below. Another article that I've read previously about Katie being a crunchy mum before she got pregnant, but she does talk about not getting vaccines, and I'm not sure if it's she wrote it or it's stolen material, but either way, it sounds like she didn't do like prenatal vitamins or, anything. Did you eat lunch meat, sushi, unpasteurized cheese, foods with too much sugar or GMOs when pregnant? You know you did, Katie. You are the queen of GMOs, genetically modified. What is the O? Fuck. What is the O, Google? Oh, orgasms. Genetically modified orgasms. Oh, Katie, that is you. No, it's genetically modified organisms. Did you drink when pregnant? You know you did. You know you did. We know you did. Because, Katie, this list that you've got here, maybe if we just do a big Google search like that, it'll come up and it will say fetal alcohol syndrome. All those things. Katie, have you done that? Have you Googled? You don't want that reality because the guilt is too much? That's okay. I'm here for that. I'm here for the reality. Not your reality, the reality. Did you smoke when pregnant? 100% she smoked the devil's lettuce. No, 100%. Do you live in an area that sprays pesticides? Yes, they do. They live in a farming town. They live near a factory that makes fertilizer. They live near where people are spraying pesticides for crops and farmland. With every question I received from well-meaning friends, family and strangers, the guilt grew stronger and stronger. I felt like it had to be my fault. Well, maybe it was. Why do you deny it? Why do you deny that you had any part in the way your son was born? He's not broken. He's not imperfect. He is perfect. You can't see him for how unique he is because all you see is what you did to him. And that is why you have continued to drink and neglect him. And like you didn't even look at him for the first 5 years. You've admitted that. So it's either the articles where you're screaming out for help, the help you never got because you've got no problems, you got no guilt, you got no shame, you didn't harm your son. Yes, you did. And yes, you are. The past and the present. Why would they ask me these questions if they didn't think I was responsible? Did they think I created his problems? Since they are asking, they must think I'm to blame, right? Over time, it became impossible to manage the feelings of grief, guilt, and frustration that I was the cause of my child's medical and developmental issues. I found myself crying, screaming, and yelling at everyone about everything. If everyone else is asking me what I did, I had to have done something. There was no other way to make sense of all the questions, articles, and content people shared with me about all the reasons children become autistic or had medical complexities. Nearly everything shared with me was all pointing back to what I must have done wrong. Just acknowledge it and get help instead of continuing to drink, continuing to neglect your son. You're not even conscious of what you're doing. You're writing about it, you're confessing about it. Then when people read it and throw it in your face and go, what's this, Pulse? And what is this? This shame, this guilt that you are feeling, that's real. Acknowledge it, deal with it, get stronger, become a better person. But you can't. You are unable to acknowledge your wrongs. That's why we are here. I mean, God, I call it the carousel from hell because you do it once and then you do it again and again and again. You never learn. You never learn, you never grow, you never evolve. You are the same person that you were in high school. No doubt about it. Because, Katie, I know how the brain develops. I know what you've done to your brain. I know what substance abuse does to the brain. I know. I lived in that dirty, disgusting guilt for far too long. Years passed by and my son grew, but the guilt in my heart never once changed because you didn't go and get help. You continued to drink. My personality changed. My heart became hard and bitterness started to harden my spirit. Every inch of me felt responsible for his issues because everything in the world was pointing fingers at me.
Everything or everyone?
Maybe you should look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, Katie, do you ever do that? Maybe you should start. I had to break free from the guilt that was consuming my life. What about the guilt that was destroying your son's life by destroying his mother, who couldn't fucking accept her responsibility for the wrongs that she had caused? Then it occurred to me that so many other mothers in the medically fragile community, or even special needs community, have also felt tremendous guilt and responsibility for our children's disabilities. You don't know, you're just assuming. Your child is also not medically fragile. Your child is medically complex. Your child is able to walk and run and say, mummy and daddy. You know, medically fragile is children that are bedridden, unable to eat for themselves, unable to breathe, unable to talk. Get out of that category, because that's not your category. You cannot exaggerate your son's illnesses and make him seem like he is worse off than what he is, even though you have. And that's fucking disgusting, because the fucking seeds, you don't even know what you're saying, and the seeds that you're planting in your son's mind, that's detrimental. That is psychologically damaging him. Society and the media are great at trying to point the finger, place blame, and find the reason why things happened. Why don't you want to know? Why aren't you looking into why things happened? Why aren't you wanting to point the finger at yourself? Why can't you understand that you are to blame? Why aren't you listening to yourself? Because you're a narcissist. And how dare anyone point their finger at you? You have not done wrong. You are the almighty Katie Joy Polson. You are the mother of the year, Mama Bear, out there protecting your son with everything. You would give your life for your son. Bull fucking shit. You'd be sitting back on your drinking chair, not even reacting.
Because we've seen it.
However, sometimes there are no answers. Sometimes there are no identifiable reasons. And sometimes the questions we ask others are just not helpful. At some point, we need to all throw up our hands and realize that it's no one's fault our children have disabilities or diseases. No articles that are shared with us, documentaries that are made, books that are written, or research studies.
What?
This is what makes us humans. We feel, we're conscious of our actions. We don't live like zombies, tuned out like substance abusers, alcoholics. That's what you are explaining, Katie. Deny that you are the problem. You are still the problem in 2024. Research studies that have been published will explain what happened to our children. Instead of feeling guilty and eating up in our hearts and our well-being, we need to find acceptance and know that we did everything the best we could with what we knew at the time. Acceptance will be the key to our freedom. Acceptance will be the key to our freedom in parenting. I can't read this shit. Acceptance will be the key to our freedom in parenting our children with confidence, love, and fierce protection from what? It's not even making sense, because you don't know. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. You're just like, I need to round this up. What have I said? Have I confessed? Have I, worn my wine bottle on my sleeve? Yes. Fierce protection from the cruel world. We need to ask our friends and family to join our acceptance and... We need to ask our friends and family to join our acceptance and love our children for who they are and what they bring to this world. We need to harvest our energy in a direction that is positive. We need to stop feeling guilty. The truth is, it's not our fault. It's my fault. It's always been my fault. Everything I do is my fault. Yet I am in denial, and I will continue living in denial for the sake of my child's life with me. Thank you for listening to my pity party story from a time where I should have listened to myself. I should have gotten help. This is 2017. Yes, I have changed my accent in and out. Don't really know who I am. One day I'm working this way, doing the flip-flop leaf life. Give this video a like. Please share it. Comment below. Let me know what you think. And please do consider subscribing. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and X at It's Crystal Bill.